Speaking of ways you're sharing information, I want to talk about, you had mentioned earlier that, you know, I was like pranking you in Parlor or something like that or whatever. And in that video clip you put up, you talked about how it was me, Boblax, and DeOrio. Now I want to say something right now because you just mentioned that you're very careful in how you present information, right? And I want to elaborate on that because you mentioned that Boblax and DeOrio were also involved in this. And you even included a clip. Now Boblax, he was joking around. He thought it was funny. He had no intent to get involved or anything. He thought it was funny. Nick DeOrio immediately told me that that's an awful idea. I want no part in this. I don't want you to do this because people will tie it to my name. You clipped that out of context, but you left the clip where he's in there reacting to it initially. That is just outright slanderous. I mean, I'm not gonna bullshit with you. That is slanderous.
I have the full like 3-minute clip here, and we can watch it. I mean, I was gonna bring it back to the Twitter thread, but we can go back to that.
No, but you mentioned that you're very careful in information that you put out or whatever. But then you just fucking lie about somebody, dude. If you want to go after me, just go after me. You don't have to tie my friends in this shit and literally make shit up over them.
So here's the thing with that, and we have to watch the full. I think it's like 3 or 4 minutes, and then it kept happening. And you're right, DeOrio did disavow you but
immediately. He wanted nothing to do with this, and the reason why he wanted nothing to do with this is because he knew exactly what you would do. He knew that you would tie him into this. He knew that you would clip him dishonestly. Like, what the fuck, dude?
Let's have a discussion about that.
Let's have a discussion. Why do you have to pull? I mean, I literally described to you what the clip is. Like, I told you what the clip is. Why did you leave that out? That's what I want to know.
We should watch it for full context.
But it seems like if you have the clip downloaded, you have it installed, then you saw that part. Because if you're going to try to sit here and say that I didn't know that DeOrio disavowed or whatever, that's just not going to work.
Let's open it up and let's have a discussion.
Guys, real quick. Nobody owns the Def Noodles app. Somebody make a Def Noodles app, tweet horrible shit in there, then post a reply to his tweet, and see if he's retards.
You can't do the website down. You gotta get a gap.
No. So that was his first reaction. You got to get a gab. That was his first. He didn't disavow it immediately. He said you got to get a gab. So that's one thing. That's one area where you were wrong. He disavowed it immediately. He said you got to get a gab.
Oh, he didn't disavow it in the first 2 seconds. Actually, in the first 20, he disavowed it. Okay. My bad, dude. I'm sorry for putting out false information. I'll correct myself.
I'm just looking at how things are playing out, and we'll come to an analysis of it, right?
He hasn't even avowed it either. He's just talking about it.
But he told you to get it on Gab. So he's telling you how to do it.
Did he tell me to do this on Gab? Where you say, like, you got to get a Gab account because Parler's about to shut down in an hour, which it was.
Exactly. So he's still telling you how to do it. He's not saying don't do it. He's telling you how to do it, which is different. We can agree on that, right?
No, because he's not saying to do that shit.
He's telling you you can't do it on Parler. Go do it on Gab.
But you can. You could. The Parler was still up.
That's not the point. The point is, he didn't say don't do don't do it. He said you can't do it on Parler. Go do it on Gab. That's the point. We can hear it again.
Then post a reply to his tweet and see if he's retards.
You can't do the website down. You gotta get a gap.
That's what he said. Got to get a Gab.
All right, keep playing.
He said the website's down, but the thing is that it furthers it because it says, oh, you can't do it because the website's down. Here's a place to do it. Go to Gab. So
I have it open right now.
Okay.
All right. Somebody make.
So he said, okay, still hasn't disavowed, right?
Make a horrible account of Def Noodles.
Yeah, so I can screenshot and reply to him.
So I can screenshot and reply to him.
Yeah, I told you Boblax had no objections to this. He thought it was funny. He didn't do anything, but he had no objections to it. But
I don't hear anybody saying that they're not going to do this. That's all I'm saying.
If they like this you, say this you, and see how many people believe it.
Yeah, I'm gonna pass on that.
So see, I'm going to pass on that one. So he disavowed. Disavowed.
Wait a minute. 29 seconds. Your clip is 20 seconds. Why the fuck did you leave that context out?
So he disavowed it 29 seconds in. Let's hear to see if he tells his audience.
No. You're not going to win this game. You're not going to win this game by simply saying he didn't disavow it immediately. He disavowed it 2 sentences after or whatever. So therefore, he agreed with it. But his disavow later doesn't matter. No, that's not going to work. Sorry.
You're missing the point. Point is, you were directing your audience. Now, you guys were all streaming, right? So there was Nicholas DeOrio. So
Nick was streaming. I want to say Boblax was streaming. I don't know. I wasn't streaming.
Was anybody else streaming? So there were 2 people streaming. I think DeOrio had, 300-400 people watching him.
200 to 300. 275, I think.
So do you know how many people are watching Boblax?
I don't know. He gets like 10 to 20 viewers or whatever.
So that's close to 300 people that have been now informed to go do this. And I'm just going to tell you what I would do in this situation if I didn't agree with a situation. I wouldn't necessarily say I disavow it. I would say, hey, everyone in the chat, don't do this. If you're watching my stream right now and it's his stream, he's on the stream. It's fine that he said, I don't like this. It's different.
But you know that's not how the internet works, right? When you tell your chat, you should know, you're not really a live streamer or whatever. I don't think you are anyway. But, as a live streamer, the #1 rule is don't tell your chat not to do something because they're going to do it. That's a well-documented rule. I mean, the chat is all trolls. If you tell them, don't do this, guys, don't do this, whatever, it doesn't matter if you're saying it jokingly or saying it seriously, they're going to go do it or whatever. He's just establishing that he wants nothing to do with this himself.
I get you. And that's fine. That's great that he disavowed it, but he never told his chat to not do it. And I understand that.
What if he told his chat not to do it or whatever, and they still did it anyway? Would you have clipped that tweet differently?
I would have, yeah, if he had told his chat.
Really?
Because the whole thing, the onus falls on him. It's his live stream. He's responsible for it.
Actually, the onus falls on me. I will fully own what I said there. That was an asshole thing to do or whatever. But, I mean, I'm an asshole. And also, I mean, you have called me the worst names in the book. This parlor prank or whatever. This wasn't even on Twitter. This was a fucking parlor pranker, right? So, yeah, I was an asshole to you, but you've been nothing but awful to me as well. So, I mean, I don't really see this as, like, a big deal.
And I understand that, and I hope that we can work our issues out before the end of this stream. I hope that we can be friendly afterwards. You know, that's why I wanted to have this conversation. But at the end of the day, it's his live stream. He's responsible.
If I'm saying it, it's my responsibility, all right? If I call into his live stream and I just randomly scream the N-word, is that his responsibility because he accepted my call or whatever? No, that would be my fault because I said it.
It would, but if you're on Twitch, his account would get shut down. You know, it would. He
might get a strike on YouTube too. So
yeah. So there you go. He would be the one who would suffer the consequence. And even if, like,
he would suffer the consequence, but it would be my fault ultimately at the end of the day.
Exactly, but he would suffer the consequence because it's still his stream. And even if he were on television, like, let's say,
well, he would suffer the consequence by, you know, not being able to stream or whatever. But nobody in the audience or nobody on Twitter would be like, "Fuck you, Nick DeOrio." No, they'd be like, "Fuck you, Augie." That's who they would throw the blame to.
But at the end of the day, he still bears some responsibility. Like, let's say that he were on a late night show or some show on television and he says the F word, right? Which is against the FCC. So the person who gets the fine is the network and the person who said it. So it's,
right, but we're not on TV, all right? That's the beautiful thing about YouTube. It's an individualist platform.
I'm just using that as another example because we just said that Twitch and YouTube would have probably given him a strike if he said the N-word, right?
Right, so, and if he was the host of Nicholas DeOrio Tonight or whatever, and I'm a guest on a show, and I say something offensive on the air on TV and get his whole entire fucking network fined, even if he's the one who has to pay the cost for that, it's still my fault. You understand that just because the bill goes to this person or whatever doesn't take any blame off of me. Even you clipping that or whatever and saying that, wow, Augie's an asshole or whatever, I have no issue with that because, yeah, that was an asshole thing to do, all right? I'm not going to fucking deny that. I'm going to be fully transparent. I'm going to be fully honest with you or whatever, but my issue is you throwing my friends into it. All right, yeah, Boblax is goofing around. Boblax is laughing at it or whatever. Nick made a very hard stance against that, and the fact that you throw him in there when there's like 9 more seconds of context that would have changed everything is just sickening, dude. You say you value what information you put on your Twitter account so much. You just told me that like 10 minutes ago, but here we have you just omitting information that would have, like, it would have cost you nothing. It would have cost you nothing to leave that in there.
At the end of the day, it was his stream. It's his responsibility.
You can't win with this, dude. I'm sorry, but that's just ridiculous, all right? The onus is on me. I'm literally handing you the fact that, yes, I am an asshole. You can go after me. Why do you have to also throw my friend on the bus who did nothing? He sat there and streamed. He was in a fucking public VC or whatever. Anyone could have come in there and said any horrible shit in the book. And as soon as I did that shit, he fucking muted in the call anyway.
Well, that's taking responsibility. So I didn't know that.
Dude. Holy shit. Who could have believed that he took fucking responsibility for something that I did on stream, dude? Just go after me, dude. Just be honest, all right? You don't like me. That's fine. I don't like you or whatever. If you're gonna go after me, just fucking go after me instead of throw everyone else under with me. Just go after me. I'm a person.
Let's relax for a second. I'm pulling up the tweet where I said what I said.
Right, this is what Def Noodles said.
Important. AugieRFC, Boblax, and Nicholas DeOrio are maliciously inciting their audience to create a Parler account under my name and write horribly racist things. I don't have a Parler. I have never had Parler. You can access Parler via web without account.
What does that last part mean, by the way? What is...
people were asking me where I got the screenshots, like that I had created a Parler account, that I had a Parler account to get it. They didn't know how it worked. They didn't know that you could just get it via web. You know, that's basically what it is. So the whole point is that, yes, he disavowed, but I mean, we're going to keep hammering that. I think we just have to agree to disagree. I see it as he has responsibility as a person who's broadcasting to, like, at least put out a statement or say something like, guys, don't do this. I'm asking you to not do it. If you do it, I disagree.
And I'm telling you that right now as a live streamer, as somebody who I think has, you know, some knowledge on this topic. Had he said that, you would have gotten more accounts made on you. So you're lucky he didn't.
At the end of the day, I feel like it's still something you have to be aware of as somebody who live streams and does stuff online, that if you don't say something, then, you know, you have to be aware of it. You have to be aware that, like, it's his platform that he's allowing this to happen. And it was the people who were watching him. You know what I mean? That's why. It wasn't people who were watching you. They weren't on your channel. You even said you weren't live streaming. So that's where that comes from. You know, he unfortunately, like, he bears some responsibility because of your actions. And it's honestly, you even said it falls more on you. Like, you should be more responsible with your friends instead of putting them in these situations, you know, because
I'm not putting anybody in any situation by going on that stream or whatever and fucking pulling a prank or whatever.
I mean, it's his live stream. You literally went and you...
Yeah, but I'm also a public figure or whatever, all right? So I fully am aware of the responsibility that lies on my end. Yeah, I'm sorry if I don't assume that you're going to be as dishonest as this and just fucking clip him or whatever. I would have thought, like, given the fact that he said it like 25 seconds later, that you would have at least included that part. But I mean, I guess I was expecting a little bit too much from you. I don't know.
Look, at the end of the day, it's his platform. You went on his platform and you said something that you even later disavowed, and he disavowed.
No, I don't think I've ever. Let me clarify that. I don't think I have disavowed at all. I don't think I've even issued an apology, and I won't.
In the video yesterday, the video you uploaded, like responding to
I said feel free to disavow me, but I don't care. Like, I'm handing you shit to talk shit about me about. You can go on Twitter and you can say Augie did this horrible thing to me, and he doesn't even apologize or whatever. Like, I'm being as honest as possible or whatever.
I get it. I'm trying to have this conversation, and that's why, like, anything that I upload to my channel, and like, you're holding me responsible for things that I upload on my platform. And I'm basically doing the same thing to DeOrio. Like, he allowed that to happen on his platform. This whole time you've been questioning.
But that just gives you another point against me, right? You can be like, damn, not only is Augie an asshole, but he did this on his friend stream, dude. Like, what the fuck, bro? Like, that's another point you can use against me. Why do you have to throw him into it?
You don't understand.
Oh, because it's his platform. And YouTube just works like national TV, where, you know, if you say something on national TV, the bill is fine to the company or whatever, that means Dior is also at fault here. But YouTube doesn't work like that, and you know this.
Let's establish something real quick. If you go on DeOrio's stream, let's say he's streaming right now, you go on his stream and you start blurting out the N-word, what happens?
Well, people are gonna fucking hate me, and he might get a strike for that.
So the strike would be on his account, right?
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that the responsibility would be on his name.
Doesn't matter. YouTube
actually does.
No. I'm saying YouTube put the strike on his account, right?
Yes.
That's all. That's the point.
But that doesn't mean that he's at fault, because he can't control that. Who knows? I could go insane. And if he's sitting there on Discord, I could just fucking, you know, Nick, let me on, Nick, let me on your stream or whatever, and then I could just fucking blurt out the worst shit you could think of. Is that his fault? Are you really gonna argue that that's his fault?
We've been on for like an hour and a half. Let's start moving along a little bit. I mean,
I think you know it's not his fault. I think that's, you know, that's a nice segue, but I think you know the answer to that question.
He didn't say it.
You can only argue this from a technicality.
It's not a technicality. It's the way.
No, but you're saying technically it happened on his stream or whatever.
It didn't. It happened. It's his platform. This whole video.
What is this language? Like, it's his platform. It's a fucking live stream.
It's his but it's live streaming on his this whole video. You're like questioning what I do on my platform, and but how for some reason now you don't want to.
Do you think I would ever criticize you if you were to host a fucking live stream and somebody said some crazy shit about me? Do you think I'd be like, wow, dude, Def Noodles, what an asshole, dude? No, I would call out your friend or whatever that's saying the shit. And I would hope you would do the same to me, but apparently not. So, look, maybe I put too much stock into your account or whatever. Maybe I put too much faith into you. I don't know, man. I just would have, I would have liked a little bit better there, just to say the least.
At the end of the day, at least we can agree that YouTube would give him the strike. And that's how.
Yeah, obviously.
Responsibility. That means he has some responsibility.